You know, I think the biggest question a lot of people have, and I apologize if this goes off prematurely, it's been, doing that at times, I don't know why. Well, not all the time, just on occasions. But again, like I say, one of the questions a lot of people have, folks, one of the questions a lot of people have is they're always hearing certain divas, women wrestlers in the WWE, those that have been called up to the main roster, those that are still in NXT but on the verge of heading to the main roster. A lot of them have been always asking the question of whether or not the NXT, whether or not the divas overall, when they get to the main roster, will the divas, because again, you hear Charlotte Flair talk about this, Becky Lynch in a recent interview she did with an article, an Irish article, I guess in Ireland or something, I don't know. As well as I'm sure you're going to hear it from Sasha Banks and several others. Even Stephanie McMahon, I think, will even say it. Will even talk about it and bring it up. But the question that fans always wonder is, will it happen? Will the divas overall ever main event a pay-per-view? I mean, you have Charlotte Flair having high expectations someday of the divas main eventing and headlining WrestleMania. And that's a great goal. That's a great goal to, that's a great goal to want to achieve in everything. That's a great goal to want to accomplish. But will it happen? Now, the reason people probably ask this even more so is due to the fact that at NXT Takeover Respect last week, Bailey and Sasha Banks main evented the show. They headlined it. They closed it out. And they did it in a fashion that got people talking, that got people basically saying that this is a Match of the Year candidate, that this has blown anything that any of the other WWE Divas, NXT Divas, WWE Superstars, NXT Superstars have ever done to that point right out of the water. And that is definitely a strong possibility, if not a true possibility. But just because they main evented NXT Takeover Respect, which in a sense is a pay-per-view, but more like, let's just say more like those in-your-house-like events. Remember when WWE used to do in-your-house and how they would charge $14.95 up to $19.95 at times before they decided to go full price on it? Remember how they used to do that? Remember how you used to look at it and say, oh, it's only $15, I can pay that. That's essentially what NXT Takeover a takeover special would cost on a regular pay-per-view basis. It'd be around that $15 to $20 range. But the point I'm getting at is this. Just because the women main evented Respect doesn't mean they're going to do the same in the main roster soon. Well, I think Schleg Daddy and Deluxe Man will probably agree with me on this. Not while you have people behind the scenes that have it out for certain individuals that support NXT. Let me explain. I don't think it's any secret, despite how much they may deny it or hide it, that Kevin Dunn has it out for Triple H. I mean, let's face it. Before Triple H entered the scene and became part of the McMahon family, Kevin Dunn, probably in the eyes of some, maybe even in his own mind, thought that he was firmly in control, he was firmly in the driver's seat of taking over. Yeah, he probably thought he was firmly in the driver's seat. Even when Shane McMahon was there, Kevin Dunn probably thought that Vince is not going to depend on Shane just yet. Or he's not going to depend on Stephanie. I'm his right-hand man. He'll depend on me. And he's probably had that belief firmly etched into his brain. However, now that Triple H is on the scene as part of the McMahon family, has proven that he could be a successful successor, along with Stephanie, to the McMahon throne. You have someone like Kevin Dunn that doesn't, maybe in the opinions of a lot of people, is not too thrilled about that. Now, I don't think Vince McMahon is Jeff Schlegel, the Shrek Daddy, said in his Raw review, I don't think he's trying to kill the product. I think what it is Vince McMahon is still listening a lot to what Kevin Dunn has to say. Now, as I said in a previous video, true, Triple H is starting to slowly influence Vince, get Vince to take a look at what the future could be through NXT and what can be done. But still, he's not as close to Vince behind the scenes wise as Kevin Dunn is. He's still not as influential as Kevin Dunn is to Vince McMahon. And that's the problem that lies within. Can the girls main event? Oh, definitely. They can definitely main event. Let me explain. I have it on DVD. I recorded it. I have it. Trish Stratus and Lita had a rivalry, and they main evented and culminated that rivalry in the last Raw of 2014 in a main event that people enjoyed, people got a kick out, people loved. They can main event. Heck, Lita's main evented Raw twice. She main evented against Stephanie. Yes, she won the title thanks to The Rock's help, but still she main evented twice. And then she had that match with Trish, that tremendous match with Trish back at the end of 2004, on the last Raw of 2004. And I thought it was good. It had people at the edge of the seat. So could women do that? Yes. Have Sasha, Bailey, Charlotte, Becky, have several of these ladies, Asuka, who's now under the NXT roster, WWE roster, have they proven they can main event? Most definitely. Most definitely they have proven it. Has Alexis Bliss obviously seeming to get in some improvement? Has she proven maybe she can get there? Well, they're sending her after Bailey as the next challenger. We'll wait and see what happens there. But still, yeah, maybe Alexis could do it. Is Emma talented enough? Yes, she is. Is Paige talented enough? Yes, she is. Can they main event? Yes, they can. But again, it's not the fact that they can't main event because they can. It's who's running the ship behind the scenes. Now, like I said in another video, Lita is now on board as part of the creative staff, working behind the scenes full time, from what I understand. So if she's part of that area, there's a chance the women will get that opportunity. Maybe not before this year's out, but definitely 2016. The door is open. The door is definitely open. But the question is, but the question still lies within, behind the scenes, of them dealing with the one obstacle that gets in the way, and that's a Kevin Dunn influence of Vince McMahon. You see, these ladies can main event. They can do it. Charlotte and Sasha main evented a house show, a live event in Philadelphia. So you cannot tell me that these women can't do it. Bailey and Sasha proved it last Wednesday. The point is, these ladies can main event. The only obstacle that's in the way that I don't think they realize right now is people like Kevin Dunn and those that are like Kevin Dunn that are influencing Vince McMahon and saying and going like, oh no, you don't want them to main event. No. They gotta have 6 Diva tag matches or one-on-one matches that will go for about 5 minutes. Maybe we can extend it to 8, but they're gonna have short matches and that's it. So the only bright shining light out of all that to make sure that doesn't happen anymore is Lita being in the creative staff, probably doing the women's stuff, and Stephanie McMahon, if she does give a damn about the women's division, the Divas division, the women's revolution, Divas revolution, she, along with Lita, are the only ones probably, along with even Sarah Del Rey, are probably the only ones that give a, to help this division and make that dream, that fantasy, as some people look at it, a reality. But I know what people are going to say. It takes more than just, main eventing. You can't just main event for the heck of it. You got to have a reason. And the reason being is you got to have a good story arc, and you got to have good rivalries. You got to get something that's very on the level of what you see in NXT. Something that's going to grab people's attention. And Lita, like I said, if she's on the creative staff working behind the scenes full time, she can help provide that with her own experience. She can help provide that. And heck, like I said in the last video, maybe for 90 days, take the NXT creative staff, bring them up, let them do the main roster story arc, and you probably see a vast improvement within 3 months. I'm just saying. The point is, it takes more than just wanting the main event. It also takes a good story arc and rivalry to make it happen. Can it be done? Absolutely. Absolutely. But again, it's all about getting over that hurdle, that one hurdle. Trying to super jump or jump over that one hurdle. Trying to get past that one obstacle. And that one hurdle, that one obstacle is the likes of a Kevin Dunn being influential to a Vince McMahon. Again though, can it be done? Most definitely. They've proven it. But it's all up to what happens in the future. Do I see maybe in 2016 the women at least getting one pay-per-view to main event? Maybe. Maybe they will, but it all depends on who is put in that spotlight. You know what I'm saying? And another thing is you've got to make the championship mean something. That's another thing that's hurting the division. Fans and people look at that Divas Championship and they say to themselves, that's not even worthy of being a main event title. What are these women thinking? Yeah, they can main event, but they can't but that's not worthy of being a main event championship. That's more worthy of being a Barbie doll championship. See, that's another factor too that I don't think they realize is the Divas title itself, whether you like it or you don't like it, is what's hurting the division. It's what's hurting that momentum. If you get rid of that Divas Championship and you resurrect the Women's Championship, I guarantee you that will be taken more seriously and you might have a better chance of the main eventing. You could. You see, those are the factors right there. But again, besides that Divas title being maybe one of the obstacles that's in the way, the other obstacle, like I said, is Kevin Dunn and those behind the scenes that are like him that are influencing Vince McMahon every day. And that, my friends, is a fact of the matter truth. And everybody watching this knows that. But can they main event? Definitely. Can it be done? Definitely. Can a good story, arc, rivalry to make it culminate into that happen and be done? Definitely. The only problem is the obstacle they got to get through to get to that point. And that obstacle is not Triple H, it's not Stephanie, it's those that supersede them right now, and that is a Kevin Dunn still being influential to a Vince McMahon. And as long as Kevin Dunn has it in, as many people put it, even myself, has it in for Triple H and Stephanie behind the scenes because they're going to get the company when Vince steps down and he's not, that's the obstacle they got to overcome. Hopefully, Kevin Dunn may not be in charge that much of creative and booking in 2016, because hopefully, as this year comes to an end, hopefully the new year will start off with a bang. I mean, 2016 to me could potentially be the year of the Divas. That could be the true year of a Divas revolution. But you know what? Scratch that. It's not just going to be the year of a Divas revolution. It's going to be the year of a women's wrestling revolution if things start off the right way. You want to kick off the first Raw of 2016 the right way and hopefully highlight these women? Or you want to end this year in a positive way? You do it the right way. You get the right people behind them. And that's why I believe that if Lita's in the back, working backstage full time, maybe even part of creative, she's got the women's division, she can take it, and maybe with the help of Sarah Del Rey and several others, she can make something out of it. She knows from experience, and that's what needs to be done. And you know what? Maybe some people may not believe this, but this Summer Rae, Lana thing coming to an end now because of what happened behind the scenes, that might be a good thing for Summer Rae because people have said Summer Rae's a great wrestler. She can compete. She can go. Maybe that's what's needed. Maybe that's what's needed to get someone like Summer involved. Someone like Lita taking charge. But the question is, will they end this year on a good note as far as the Divas division is concerned? And then hopefully 2016 will be the year of women's wrestling. Will be the year of the true revolution of women's wrestling. Will it be? Will 2016 be that year? I hope it will be. Because maybe they do have a lot of stuff planned ahead, and maybe they do have to rewrite things here and there. But you know what? If they can start off 2016 on a clean slate, I look at great things for the Divas division. I look at some positive things for the division. If done right, if heralded by the right people, like let's say a Lita, a Sarah Del Rey, a Triple H, and maybe even Stephanie involved. If done right, they can definitely, at least maybe once that next year, main event a pay-per-view. Maybe not a big four, but at least one of the B-level pay-per-views, like let's say Over the Limit. I could see them doing that. I could see it. But the question is, can they overcome the obstacle to make it happen? Behind the scenes. Can they overcome that obstacle behind the scenes to make it happen? I believe they can, but it's going to take time. Will it happen throughout 2016 to where they can get this shot? Perhaps. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I do believe 2016 will be the year of women's revolution if they start off on a clean slate at the first Raw of next year and just let the influence of what's been done in NXT, let Lita bring that experience she has from her years, from what she's seen in NXT. Let the influence of what's been done in NXT be brought up. Let Lita bring her style in, and let these women do what they got to do to get over. Because I guarantee you, if they don't, then 2016 could not be the year of women's wrestling. It could be the end of women's wrestling, especially on the main roster. So all I'm going to say, folks, is hopefully 2016 will be the year. But to go back and answering the question originally on this video, will they have a main event? I believe they will. But the question is, the question that follows that is, can they overcome the obstacle behind the scenes to make that happen? You guys let me know what you think down below. Comment if you like. I'm out.